Welcome to Hoystory on Air. Happy New Year. I'm going to do seasons that line up with years. So this is going to be Season 2, Episode 1. Thank you for joining me. It is January 4th. I hope everyone had a wonderful New Year. Hopefully you haven't, broken any of your resolutions yet. But big surprising news happens over the weekend. And some of these have some background music and whatnot, or background sounds to them. But Donald Trump, I guess we're all neocons now. So much for that, huh? So Trump sent the Delta Force down and Venezuela, and
we want justice. You say how? Release Maduro right now. Release Maduro right now. Release Maduro right now. Release Maduro right now. We want justice.
In New York City, and there's a picture in the middle there of him apparently on the USS Iowa. Someone has claimed that this is what they call this. It's a war crime for blindfolding him and making it so he can't hear while he's on a U.S. warship. That's frankly the least of the stupid that's been going around. We got lots of videos planned. You have two groups of people. You got the leftists in the U.S. who like Maduro, who quickly went out there protest. We want Maduro back and whatnot. And you had the other ones who, everybody else, great. Now I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be looking at when this is all said and done. It was an impressive operation that Trump did. Got to give him. Got to give everyone who was involved credit on that. You see them when it goes wrong. The 1979 and 1980 and Jimmy Carter in Iran, trying to rescue the hostages there. That was an absolute cluster. But hey, when it goes well, this I guess shows us that we can still do it. So good thing there. As far as Trump, though, I watched some of his press conference. I'm not all that impressed by it. This is a comment here that one of Nick Gillespie, editor of Reason magazine, highlighted. I'm going to play it for you. Yeah, Nick's not happy with this at all. Of course, he's a libertarian. That's what, par for the course. But take a quick listen to this.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it.
This, of course, plays into, and we'll see some of this later as I go. I'm mainly going to focus on kind of the responses to this whole operation and whatnot down there in Venezuela. But this, Trump speaking off the cuff, Trump not having talking points to kind of lay down. This shouldn't surprise us that he runs his mouth sometime. A lot of people are saying, we went down there to oil and he's just using this to enrich his friends. We've heard that before. That was why we allegedly went to a war in Iraq. Again, we're all neocons now, right? We went to war in Iraq for the oil there. And then we didn't take the oil. We never took the oil. So Then once we took, once we were there, we didn't take the oil. It was like, there's some people like, well, why didn't we take the oil? Why didn't we get them to pay for their own, throwing off the chains of Saddam Hussein? So similar things here. I don't know what Trump means when he says we're going to run Venezuela, because we don't have boots on the ground. You've got people, oh, we've started a war. There's no boots. There are no Americans, soldiers on the ground in Venezuela right now. That goes a couple different ways. He hasn't started a war. This is not starting a war, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. We did the same thing with Manuel Noriega down there in Panama, where and that was, I think, George H.W. Bush in '89, if I recall correctly. And then you had, similar sort of thing was done in Grenada by Reagan. In and out. He doesn't need congressional approval for something like this. And again, Maduro he had an indictment out for him. We had a reward out for him. So this is not a war. This is not an invasion. I'm not sure what he means when he says we're going to run Venezuela. Maduro's vice president, another unsavory, everyone in the government of Venezuela right down there with Maduro's unsavory. They all need to go, which used to be, 72 hours ago, the consensus on much of the left and the right. It's funny how things changed. There's just too many unknowns right now to take a solid position on, oh, this is what's happening, or this is the reason he's doing it, or whatnot. It's just, you can't do it. Now let's get into some of the reactions. First, in the stupids, we have our anti-Semites. So Maduro, a Jew, remains in power in Venezuela. This was a year ago, a year and a half ago. So Maduro, a Jew, remains in power in Venezuela. While Jews in Israel escalate conflict with Lebanon. And then today, so the MAGA peace president promised no new wars, is just blowing up anyone Jews ask him to. The Jews are behind it. Same thing with Candace Owens, who's dumb as a bag of hammers. Everything's the Jews. Venezuela has been liberated like Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq were liberated. The CIA has staged another hostile takeover of a country at the behest of globalist psychopaths. That's it. That's what's happening. Always, everywhere. Zionists cheer every regime change. Stupid. And then we have Sink from the Young Turks. This one, this was technically posted like the day before, but doesn't like us bombing Venezuela, and that Trump is acting like Hillary Clinton at her Hillary Clinton was a neocon. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. We got Hillary Clinton's a neocon. Really, pull the other one. Just so that we're clear on who Nicolas Maduro was and how he behaved and what he was like, I bring you Ben Shapiro responding to Megyn Kelly presenting Tucker Carlson's defense of Maduro a couple months ago. Again, I can't make this stuff up.
Tucker's made the point, I'm not going to here to be Tucker's defender, but he's made the point that Maduro is culturally conservative.
Who gives a shit? The guy's a communist dictator. Everyone in his country is eating dog. He's shipping fentanyl to the United States to kill Americans. Why do I give a shit whether he's anti-LGBTQ rights?
Yes, exactly. Not a nice guy. Millions of people have left Venezuela because you can't afford food, and it's a nightmare. Some of the videos I showed earlier, there were Venezuelans in Chile, in Peru, in Argentina, in the United States who are happy that he's gone. Now, again, we haven't quite done regime change, because his lieutenants are still in power there. It doesn't look as though the ones who won the last election there, which was the opposition, a lot of them have fled the country. They're not coming back in yet. So, not sure exactly where we're going to go with that. But the response is, I guess we shouldn't be surprised that partisan politicians behave partisanly. It's one of these things where, well, if Biden had done it, it was good, and if Trump does the same thing, it's bad, because one's Trump, one's Biden. And we assume that Biden's motives were pure and Trump's motives are impure or evil, and so that's okay. Now, Biden himself has not posted anything as of the recording of this show on Twitter, but Kamala Harris did. Donald Trump's actions in Venezuela do not make America safer, stronger, or more affordable. Not everything a president does is aimed towards necessarily making things more affordable. Now, that Maduro is a brutal, illegitimate dictator does not change the fact this action was both unlawful and unwise. It's not unlawful. We had indictments against him. We had $25 million bounty on his head. They want to play this game. Oh, it's illegal. We've done this before. We've done it at least twice before. And no U.S. court has ruled it illegal. Now, some will claim international law or the UN. I've got words for those because they do not impress me much. Wars for regime change or oil that are sold as strength but turn into chaos, and American families pay the price. Of course, none of that's happened yet, and it probably won't happen. We heard the same thing when Trump bombed Iran's nuclear program. First it was, this is going to start World War III, and it hasn't. Second, it was, it really didn't do much damage to their program. It's pretty obvious now that it did. And now you've got, I think we're on the day 5 of widespread protests in Iran, and there's hope that finally, the mullahs may go. That would be great for the Iranian people. It would be great for the Middle East. It would be great for the U.S. I don't think it's a bad thing to say any of those things or to wish for any of those things. But what do you expect from Kamala Harris? She's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Let's go with some history here. Biden raised the bounty from Nicolas Maduro to $25 million. And we've got 600,000 Venezuelan migrants here under temporary protected status who fled Maduro's regime down there. And note when this occurred, January 10th, 2025, 10 days before Biden left office. Okay? Did the Biden-Harris administration really mean this? Did they really care about this? And you're going to see it time and time again as I go through this stuff. It's just that they said one thing then, they say a different thing now, just because Trump has done it. Joe Biden, Trump talks tough on Venezuela, but admires thugs and dictators like Nicolas Maduro. As president, I will stand with the Venezuelan people and for democracy. What did Biden do in his 4 years in office for the Venezuelan people and democracy? I'll give you the answer. It's jack squat. Biden thought he'd sweet talk Maduro because he doesn't recognize what or who Maduro is. In 2023, tried to ease the oil sanctions hey, we'll ease sanctions on your country, Maduro, if you allow a free and fair election and stop banning every opposition party that starts up in the country. And so, Biden talked tough in 2019 when Trump was in office, and he's planning on running for president. Oh, Trump's just a lackey. He's got no guts. Biden comes into office, eases oil sanctions, and then has to reimpose them because Maduro is Maduro. He is a communist dictator, or was until a few days ago. And all these people are complaining about what Trump did. And they talked, all of them. And you're going to see example after example. And I had to stop after several because it got pointless, basically. Because just about every Democrat, that was then, this is now. And when Trump does it, that's bad. One who's been consistent, of course, is Bernie Sanders, shown his contempt for the rule of law. The President of the United States does not have the right to unilaterally take this country to war. Well, again, if it was a war, it was an hour or two. I mean, and that's usually not a war. Even against a corrupt and brutal dictator like Maduro. This guy's Bernie, 3 houses, Sanders. He owns 3 homes. A socialist, he owns 3 homes, okay? He had his honeymoon in the Soviet Union, in the USSR. That's what kind of guy this is. So, whatever. That's what we expect. Mayor Pete. It's an old and obvious pattern. An unpopular president failing on the economy and losing his grip on power at home. How he's losing his grip on power at home, I don't know what that is. Decides to launch a war for regime change abroad. People don't want to run a foreign country while our leaders fail to improve life in this one. Well, that was yesterday. Let's flip back 5 years. The illegitimate takeover of the Venezuelan National Assembly is further evidence that dictator Maduro will stop at nothing to consolidate his grip on power. I stand behind Juan Guaido, and the Venezuelan people as they strive to reclaim their democracy and defend their rights. Yeah, he's standing way behind him. He's not standing up for him. Oh, I'll make a statement, but, when push comes to shove, I'll join an administration and we won't do jack squat again. Absolutely nothing. We have Zoran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York City. I was briefed this morning on the U.S. military capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, as well as their planned imprisonment in federal custody here in New York City. Unilaterally attacking a sovereign nation is act of war and a violation of federal and international law. Blah, blah, blah. What do we expect? New Yorkers, you voted for the guy. Great job. You're going to get it. Good and hard. So we shouldn't arrest foreign heads of state. Is that what I'm getting from Mamdani? Yes, that's what I'm getting from Mamdani. What was his position when the foreign head of state wasn't a socialist communist like he is? What was his view when the foreign head of state was, say, a Jew?
And Mayor Mamdani, would you welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for, given the US is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the US, unlike a lot of other countries. Would a Mayor Mamdani welcome Benjamin Netanyahu to the city?
No. As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Even though the US is not a signatory to the ICC?
No, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
Yeah, not surprised. One's got an indictment in the U.S. and the other one is the head of a Jewish state. Yeah. Jews in New York, be very afraid. I mean, he's done some other things since he took office 4 days ago that should cause you concern. Get used to it.
And Mayor Mamdani, would you welcome
So,
well, we stand with the Venezuelan people.
We got Chris Van Hollen here. He's not happy with, he's the senator for Maryland. I think he's the senior senator from Maryland. The American people did not ask for this act of war to bring about regime change in Venezuela, nor did Congress authorize it. President Trump put our troops in harm's way, and he has not provided a clear, fact-based rationale for these actions. Blah, blah, blah. The act of war is a grave abuse of power by the president. The Trump administration is repeating the worst mistakes of our past, endangering American lives. Well, let's rewind back. Let's go back to 2024.
Well, we stand with the Venezuelan people who overwhelmingly, it turns out, voted for Gonzales and against Maduro. This is why many of us called immediately for transparency, for the Maduro government regime to release the results. And there's a reason, Jose, that they hid those results, because we now know, because we've seen results that were released by some of the opposition figures from about 80% of the polling places, that Gonzales has, won comfortably here. And so this is clearly an effort to deny the will of the people. Maduro lost, right? He is trying to cling on to this claim of legitimacy that he won when all the evidence shows otherwise. So this is why Secretary Blinken did, in my view, the right thing, recognizing the real winner here, Gonzales. And this is why the United States is now going to use its levers and influence to push for a negotiation, to have a transition to the truly elected leader, Gonzales. Now, obviously, we know Maduro and his cronies do not want to go quietly into the night, but the United States needs to work with our partners and allies in the region to ratchet up the pressure on behalf of the Venezuelan people.
And you're complaining about what Trump did. Why exactly? Because all that pressure and blah, blah, none of it worked. None of it worked. The only thing that was going to work was this. And I have a feeling if Biden had done this, Van Hollen be there. Yeah, go team. Go team. I would, and this goes for politicians on both sides of the aisle. I wish they were principled and not partisan. I wish we didn't get this sort of garbage one day and flip the exact opposite position the next day. I wish we didn't have that, but we do, and he's not the only one. I'm going to give you Chris Murphy of Connecticut. If Trump cared about consistency, he would make the realist case for intervention in Venezuela. Getting rid of Maduro is good for the United States. Rather than trying to present this administration all of a sudden cares about toppling anti-democratic regimes. Well, that was 7 years ago. That was during Trump's first term. And then during the Biden administration, he had something else to say. Something similar.
So over the past decade, Nicolas Maduro, the brutal dictator of Venezuela, has presided over a stunning collapse of the Venezuelan economy that has caused nearly 8 million Venezuelans to leave that country, most of which destined for the United States. Part of the reason why we saw 10,000 people showing up at the border every day last year, a number that the United States just can't handle with current resources because of the meltdown of the Venezuelan economy. And so it's no surprise that in the election that was held this week, Maduro clearly lost. The briefings that I've received today suggest that Maduro not only lost, he probably lost in a landslide and is attempting as we speak to steal the election. If he's successful, not only will Venezuela continue to spiral into political and economic chaos, but you will see more people come to the southern border. Maduro is now in a corner. We're working with our allies and our partners in the region to try to force them to accept the results of this election.
Again, how'd that work out? How'd that? It didn't. It did nothing. Nothing. I mean, sometimes you can apply pressure, but you can usually apply a little more pressure in democracies than you can dictatorships. But I mean, okay, Chris Murphy, you're right. You're right. I mean, Venezuela was the richest country in South America, largely because of its oil and other advantages down there with minerals and whatnot. And now it's the poorest. Maduro himself is quite wealthy. His cronies are wealthy, but most people down there, I mean, Murphy's right. Murphy's right. So, and he's advocating for something that Trump did. And now that Trump has done it, what's Murphy got to say?
Venezuela is not a security threat to the United States. They're not threatening to invade us. There is no terrorist group like Al-Qaeda operating there that has plans to attack the United States. But the
Hezbollah is there. And Hezbollah does do training there, and they're a bad actor. Okay, so
extent that you care about the drug trade. Yes, they produce drugs, but those drugs go to Europe. Fentanyl is the drug that's killing Americans. That's not coming from Venezuela. Venezuela produces cocaine. 90% of it is not coming to the United States. This seems to be mostly about oil and natural resources. Donald Trump's entire foreign policy is corrupt. Russia, the Middle East, and now Venezuela is all about making money for his friends. And Wall Street, the oil industry, they can make a lot of money off of Venezuela if they run it. You saw within hours of the invasion, the announcement of a group of Wall Street investors, energy industry investors, planning a trip to Venezuela to make money off of this invasion, off of this ouster. So unfortunately, once again, you're seeing that this president's foreign policy, the invasion of Venezuela, the ouster of Maduro, is about making his crowd filthy rich. It has nothing to do with American national security.
Again, we've heard this claim before, and it's generally not true. The thing is, there used to be U.S. oil companies down in Venezuela. We helped run their pipelines. We helped, we did the oil derricks in the Gulf of Mexico down there. We did, pipelines and whatnot. And then over a couple of different periods, the government basically nationalized the oil industry, and American companies fled. Other, companies fled. And they went from like 3 million barrels a day to less than 1, and they're not shipping it, and there's going to be a net benefit to the Venezuelan people. They're not as cynical as Murphy is here, and I don't think Murphy's right. Yeah, they're going to go down there. Yes, there's oil. Yes, there's money to be made. And you know who else is going to take advantage of that? Who else is going to benefit from that? The people of Venezuela. I mean, they act like we're going to go down there and steal it, and the Venezuelan people are going to get nothing. That's not how it works. That's not how it worked before. That's not how it's ever worked. Yes, U.S. companies, oil companies, not just U.S., I'm sure, will go down there and they'll be able to start making money. And everyone will benefit. That's how free markets work. So, it's amazing. Trump did what you wanted, and now he's just in it for oil. No surprise that comes. And now we bring you dumb. World-class dumb. I will say that without... just take a listen. See if you can figure out what exactly Ilhan Omar, a member of the squad from Minneapolis and by way of Somalia, but mainly still Somalia, what brilliant insight she has today.
A lot of the policies that we have put in place has kind of helped lead the devastation in Venezuela, and we've sort of set the stage for where we are arriving today. This particular bullying and the use of sanctions to eventually intervene and make regime change really does not help the people of countries like Venezuela, and it certainly does not help, and it's not in the interest of the United States.
The woman's dumber than a bag of hammers. We're to blame for what happened in Venezuela, with Chavez first and Maduro second. It was because when that started, we didn't do squat. That all went into a landslide on their own, because this just in: socialism doesn't work. Okay, communism doesn't work. It doesn't. Oh, the people. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the C and D students in your schools. Look at the ones that aren't that bright, because they're the ones that are going to get into Congress. The smooth talkers that are complete, utter, blithering idiots. You don't have to be an A student to make it to Congress. You don't have to be an A student to make it in politics. You need to be a brazen liar, a avowed partisan, and not that bright. Next individual here, I think he is reasonably bright, but this is stupid. And he's not the only one who's making this analysis. Trump thinks acting like Putin makes him look strong. But what he did in Venezuela has strategic implications he doesn't understand, really. I can buy that. China tried to use it to justify going after Taiwan, or Russia could use it to justify escalation in Ukraine or even elsewhere. Trump doesn't get that, and it makes Americans and our allies and partners less safe. Senator Kelly, I don't think that China and Russia are holding themselves back from military actions that they want to take, obviously in Ukraine, based on what they perceive the U.S. as doing. Like, oh, this gives us a green. They don't give a damn. They don't. Are you so blinkered that you do not understand the way the world works? Seriously, and of course, Mr. Expertise, Tom Nichols, a never-Trumper another one of these ones who ran to basically being a Democrat, wrote a book, I think it was called The Death of Expertise. The United States has now given Russia, China, and anyone else who wants to give it a try an even clearer roadmap for invading countries that displease them. That hasn't stopped Russia, ever. It hasn't stopped China, ever. If they aren't invading someplace, it's because China's not invading Taiwan because Taiwan's a bit of a hedgehog, porcupine. It's going to be messy. Could they take it? Probably, but they don't know, where if the U.S. is going to step in. Strategic ambiguity. I would hope that we would. I would hope that we'd be telling them, behind the scenes, don't do it because we will. It'll cause you much more pain than you can probably endure. Don't do it. But the idea that these countries are basing their foreign policy or their adventurism in a military fashion on how the U.S. behaves or how it holds its... They don't... The only thing they care about the U.S. is how and in what fashion and to what degree the U.S. will intervene to thwart them. That's the only thing. This idea that, we have this moral stature that we're the good guys. Nobody thinks most of these countries don't think we're the good guys. The belief that goes into this is just mind-numbingly stupid. We have defense lawyer Scott Greenfield here. He's another one. He's like, he appears on TV all the time. He's a lawyer. Vance points out, again, we had an indictment for Maduro. We arrested him. You don't get to invade a sovereign nation. Wage an unauthorized war. Again, we're tossing this war. There's no war. Not yet, anyways. Let's wait till that actually happens. Violate the Constitution. There's no real violation of the Constitution. Arrest its leader, no matter how illegitimate he does not be. Might does not make right. Well, might does not make right, but you can do a lot of right with might. So that was today or yesterday. And if we go back to 2019, people starting death in Venezuela only serves to launch you into a rant about politics. You don't care at all about people and are lying to yourself. Yep, there you are. You're lying to people, and you don't care about people, and you are lying to yourself. Congratulations, Scott Greenfield. Nailed it. This last one is name goes by Alejandra Caraballo. It's a dude. Okay, this is a trans woman, aka a man. Not that intelligent, but it appears all the time. This is one of the Democrats love this dude. Okay, so Canada can indict Trump for bribery, bomb Washington, D.C., and send the Mounties to round him up. I think it's supposed to be, is that how this works? This effectively might makes right by Vance. The U.S. does not have sovereign authority over foreign leaders. When it comes to global geopolitics, a lot of it's what you can do. If Canada felt really strongly about it and had the military to back it up, they could try. I'm not sure who in Canada Trump is bribing. I don't know what to tell you. Really, that's all I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we try to be doing these on a regular basis. I have been doing quite a few shorts. If these are too long for you, please go to Hoystory. Go on YouTube to Hoystory, click on shorts. Those are required to be about a minute long, so you can click through several of those. Some of them get all the right people angry. Some of them people like. But that's a way you can take this in smaller doses. Otherwise, please continue to follow me. Social media, hoystory.substack.com. Follow me on X at Hoystory, hoystory.com on Facebook. And again, YouTube /@Hoystory. Hoystory probably gets you there too. Anyways, we will see what happens in the coming days and weeks over there in Venezuela. And again, there's lots of people who are very sure about what Trump is doing in Venezuela. I think they may be more sure about what he's doing there than he is. I hope there's a plan that returns Venezuela to a liberal democracy, but we'll see. In and of itself, taking out Maduro is a good thing. He deserves to spend the rest of his life rotting in a jail cell. Perfectly fine with that. But, try and look at the big picture. If you're worried about this, I understand people being concerned about this. A war has not been started. Getting Maduro did not start a war. Things may change. Again, we don't know what the plan is. We have no idea what the plan is. Pray for the people of Venezuela. Pray for the leaders of this country. Pray for Trump. He needs it too. Again, thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.